big Dookie chain. We got Tash to my left. We got Nate D-O-double-G behind the cameras. We also got, over by the cameras, we got Jessica and Aurora. And we got Block McCloud, special guest today. Good to have you here.
Peace.
Finally got you into the studio, even though you live in Worcester now. So
I know, I'm like hop, skipping, and jumped away, and I just...
Yeah, but it's all good. You're here now. And I feel like now that you're Brooklyn's own, but can we count you in like Boston MCs then at this point? How long have you been in Worcester now?
I moved out to Worcester 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like 12 years, man. I'm definitely New England, man.
Yeah.
For, I would say Wicked every once in a while. So
that's unfortunate. I'm not originally from Boston. I started working Wicked into things.
No, I do it all the time. It's weird. Oh,
it's definitely weird.
Strange now. Like they say pop.
Oh, even worse than the house.
That's it.
Yeah, no.
One of the kids I work with is from Virginia, and by way of Colorado. I work at downtown crossing of Washington Street, which is like one of the last places in downtown Boston where tourists and drug addicts like still mix. Like it's like one of the wild places that tourists will. Exactly. And he's like really nice. And like little by little, he's like getting that mean streak in him. And like he didn't say wicked, but he started to tell people to go fuck themselves. Yeah, I like
that's because you're there. Yeah. He's listening to you. It's two lives under Tash.
See, but I came from New York, so it fits. Like we fit right in.
Yeah, see, but he's Detroit. So he's a little too nice too. He's like, oh, so those.
And we should get there. We're nice.
Everyone in bar gets like old weathered people. Like old weathered, like angry people.
Time magazine did rate Boston.
Like one of the they drink like it's like no name beer. You know what I'm saying? Like Budweiser's the nicest beer you're gonna drink. That's like a real Boston shit. Like these new people with like all these fucking like lagers and like all these like crap beers and shit and pieces.
That's the Cambridge crowd.
Boston.
But do you become more of an asshole the further out of downtown Boston you go?
No,
because I feel like in the epicenter, those are all transient people that are just there for school or.
No, but you laugh from that.
You'll see a lot of actual people that still like live there, just walking around, bumping into people angry as fuck because there's all those transient and tourist people there in their space.
Oh, maybe South.
Yeah, because we're still trying to like get back.
We completely gentrified in Cambridge, though.
When I first moved out here, I'm going through the toll, and I give the dude the bread. He was still paying money at the time. It was before Easy Pass, and I'm showing my age now, right? But give the dude.
Did you say before Easy Pass? Oh, before Easy Pass. Not before Easy Pass. Sorry, I just watched Straight Outta Compton. Not a little. My head.
I was there for that too. But yeah, dropped to get do the bread, and I was like, "Thank you very much. Have a nice day." Yeah.
Teachers, there you go.
So, yeah,
I said right there.
Right there. Yeah.
So, like you said, Brooklyn's on. Like, where is your origin story start?
Oh wait, before we did that, I had this whole intro where I wanted to like list off who you are.
Okay.
So we got producer, rapper, singer. You've called yourself, or other people have referred to you as Captain Hook.
Captain Hook.
Okay.
I write a lot of hooks from people.
You're like the underground 50 Cent of hooks. A Nate Dogg. That's more apt.
Shut up.
Nate D-O-double-G. That's Nate Dogg behind the camera right now. The second coming.
Yeah, man.
You're also a conspiracy theorist to a certain degree, we could say.
Yeah.
Or maybe not theorist.
Yeah.
What's the word when it's like conspiracy theorist?
Real?
You're real. Yeah.
It's conspiracy realist.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
You said the words.
No. Okay. There we go. Conspiracy realist.
Yeah.
You're a record label owner.
Yep.
Studio owner.
Yep.
Are you still a drinker?
Yeah.
Okay, because previously you were like the drunken pervert or the drunken monkey were some of the names.
Drunken pervert. Yeah.
I like that one.
Porno king. Yeah.
Porno king.
AKA Tiger Wood. You know what I mean?
What? That makes me think of Tight Storage Locker. Inside joke from off camera. You're a Mets fan, huge Mets fan, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're in that right now.
What are we doing right now? You're a Mets fan, like?
But look at the hat and his entire Instagram. His Instagram is literally every third picture of Mets. Yeah. Oh, so it's fair. He's a huge Mets fan. You're just showing that you haven't done your homework.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
You're a father.
Study.
Yeah, you're a father to how many kids do you have?
4.
4 kids. Okay. And you're a grandfather.
4. Yes. Grandfather. Yes. I'm 3.
So that's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
And we haven't even discussed like normal, outside of hip hop, other work you do and all that.
Yeah, I do a lot, man. I do a lot. Working as a forklift operator / night manager / full-time dad. You know what I mean?
You work nights, so you're not going to live long, man. That's like what they say.
Yeah, I'm just working on it.
Yeah, no.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
I'm already happy. I'm like a zombie. When you work nights, you just
It's true. People who work nights have a much higher mortality rate at a much younger age.
I do understand that.
So if we can't take a moment to just do, a wellness check, then what are we doing with this podcast?
When I started this job,
wouldn't know.
I was 20. I'm now 15. So yeah,
It happened like in 10 years.
age very fast. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, it happened like
You're the age of hip hop.
4 years.
How old are you?
53.
53? So you are the age of hip hop.
Yeah.
So what's your origin story in the beginning? Where are you starting? What's the first place that you're ever actually hearing the art of hip hop?
My earliest memory, I was at a Columbia Street Festival in Brooklyn. It was like a street, Red Hook, Columbia Street. They had different little street fairs, and these kids got up on stage and just started rapping. Hip, the hop, the hit it, the hit of the hip, hit the hop. You know what I mean? I was just like, what is this? This is dope.
You were how old?
Like
Approximately.
6 or 7.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
And this isn't even like people that are, this is just guys from the neighborhood on stage, like just doing park jam shit.
Yeah.
So this is just not even before.
Turntables, got to the mic, just moving the crowd.
In Red Hook.
Yeah.
I always think of Shabazz the Disciple. Was that Red Hook?
Yeah.
You know that song?
Shabazz from out there, the dude,
Yeah, he did that album with Hellraiser, Thug.
Crooklyn. You got to meet Crooklyn was from out there.
Yeah, but
Right, one of those. It was
the guy who made Crooklyn was a white guy, the director. Are we talking about the movie? Now we're jumping all over. I'm just talking about Shabazz the Disciple. That album, Hidden Skulls. And Red Hook Day, I think was the name of it.
Yeah.
But you were in the epicenter of hip hop, so 6 years old is a bit.
That's the things. Look, that's just that.
Brooklyn talking. My era was like Houdini. You know what I mean? Like Big Daddy Kane was rapping out of Bismarck. Down at Albee Square.
First like tape you bought.
Those are the kids I was listening to growing up.
The first tape you stole, first tape you bought.
Wow.
You remembered where you were at 6 years old, so you gotta remember.
So it's like the timeline from being 6, because like hip hop was even obtainable to buy it.
Right.
Had to be like, I can't even tell you what the first cassette was. It wasn't hip hop. It was like,
But first hip hop.
Yeah.
it was a fucking.
Or 8-track or
Eddie
fucking.
Murphy. My dear was to party. It was old.
Black, you gotta be able to remember your first hip hop.
Run DMC.
Okay.
Beastie Boys.
There weren't that many back then. You're so old. There were like 5 cassette tapes.
It was vinyl.
So
vinyl.
It was vinyl.
Vinyl. I'm thinking Roxanne.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That era.
Oh, so you were there for Roxanne
First one.
Hip hop isn't on tape yet. It's on vinyl. It's
Bridge
like,
is over. The bridge is over. You know what I mean?
but at this era, are there, when you're buying vinyl, is like you're a 10-year-old buying vinyl?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
12. My boy had he had Brad. He lived in a little brownstone, and his mom bought him turntables for Christmas, and we used to just go to his crib and spend it on. You know what I mean?
It's not like 10 years old.
Yeah, 12, 13. Yeah.
Okay, so
What was I doing? In town, I was masturbating.
not that. No, I don't.
Profusely to the Spanish Jew.
What's crazy though is at 13 years old now, right? So we talk about like not gatekeeping in hip hop, but there was like a barrier of entry to hip hop, like back in our day, your day, my day, the early 90s,
Right.
that shit. So like, you had to go to a studio, you had to pay money, get an engineer. All 13-year-olds didn't have access to turntables.
Right.
Now all 13-year-olds have access to turntables.
Right.
But back then,
No.
how the fuck are you getting access to turntables at fucking?
You said it, spread that bread.
We were taking the
Yeah,
train
but
up
still.
to like Crown Heights. You know?
They're in the epicenter of hip hop. This isn't Wayman, Massachusetts.
But you can't even buy them yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're not even like it's not even a thing yet.
Nah, I mean vinyl we could get. Yeah, when the turntables came out, the vinyl came out obviously, and hip hop started dropping singles and started swooping them up.
So you buy like
But yeah, to do like beats and to do production and all that, we had to either we paid to get in the big studio, or we were lucky and somebody in the hood had a nice little home studio. You know what I mean?
Are you making beats and shit like at that age too? Like at like a young age like that?
At that time, I was turntabling more than anything. Just trying to learn how to turn. I was terrible at it. But what I did do, I made tapes. I made pause tapes. So I had a double cassette tape. I'd play one over here. I'd play the beat for 4 bars. Record. Stop. Rewind. And you know what I mean?
Sampling.
I rapped to that on headphones.
Yeah, no, that's not even how you sampled. Like that's how you made a beat.
That's how you made the beat.
So yeah, so
doing that.
You're looping on a cassette into another.
No,
cassette.
not even a cassette. A 4-track that's a fucking cassette tape that's taped on 2 sides,
right?
And you're using double on one side and double on the other side.
Cassette on this side, cassette on this side. You press play.
This is how you made music.
Press record. Press record. Press record.
So the way you have
until you have like a minute length, and then you grab your microphone, your headphones, little fuzzy orange headphones, plug it into the microphone jack, and you press record and play over that while this is playing, and you can hear yourself on the second.
So understand, I was born in '82, but those 4 or 5 extra years between him and I made a world of difference. But I don't fucking know 4 tracks.
Yeah, no. So because when we're like, so that right there, that machine right there is 8 tracks on it. Like the machines that you're talking about, 4 tracks on it. And this is one of the important things about he's a historian and the essence of hip hop and how it was created and like the effort it took and why it was so important back in the fucking day compared to what it is now.
Right.
Because like the effort you had at this point in time, people aren't realizing you're like stitching things together, like all this equipment, and you're taking one fucking speaker and you're putting it up to another speaker and you're playing it and you're fucking recording it and you're waiting 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Oh, I missed it by a half second. Okay. You're doing that for literally hours to make 35 seconds worth of a beat.
Yeah. If you weren't doing that, you was recording hip hop shows at night, Stretch and Bobby and all that.
Yeah, I was doing that part.
Because that's where you got your beats, right? You spin the radio.
Oh, you get
record.
You're getting the beats from that.
And then I'm chopping the little beginning of
oh, that's hilarious. The intro coming on.
Yeah, it's a break through the sample and shit. And also, like, you only have 4 tracks.
Right.
So you could, like, now you have 100 fucking tracks. You can make all these dings and whistles and bells and shit. One track's going to be your vocals. And if your boy rapped with you, you had to pass that fucking mic and be on the same track.
Right.
Not the mic, the headphones. Turn it down.
Headphones. But
I'm getting that. I'm picking up
so
that.
one is the drum beat, one's a piano loop, and one is a sample, and then one is your voice. Nothing else can be added. It's only 4 tracks.
So you understand that all the other times you've had this discussion in here, I just, like, furrow my eyebrows a little, act like I know.
Now you actually.
Now I actually know.
You know, the old time, like,
absolutely.
It's people like yourself that did that shit for like so long and taught the next step that like, okay, then you're not going to do that anymore. Now they made a machine that did that. Okay, now you got like a 4 second of sample. It was a 4 second of a sample. It was 3 second at first. Yeah. And you could flip that. You could always sample 3 seconds.
Yeah, they came out with digital.
And then you could 3 second flip. Like when Molly Wild's making records and Pete Rock's making records, they're using 3 second sample flips.
Fucking boomers.
Yeah, like it's crazy. So people don't understand like how difficult that shit was. It was just cool that someone else like, oh, that's how you fucking did it.
That's how it started.
Can I also say you look way younger than 53?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hip hop keeps me young.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hip hop does keep people young, man. Most of the people that come in here, like look fucking way younger. You know?
Well, we only allow people in based on their looks. It's a very exclusive podcast. We want everyone looking good.
Yeah, no, I'm down. That sounds sexy. For 53, I'm down for feather beard.
I'm interested. If you got the posture right there.
I'm nice. Being sober definitely helps.
1,000%.
Oh, how long have you been sober for?
A year and 3 months.
Okay, because last time I saw you was at the Art of the Rugged Man show. Young Z was there. You were hammered.
That's honestly, I checked in right after that experience because of how embarrassed I was.
You didn't rehab the whole life?
It had something to do with it.
I'm going to
like for me, it was just like,
yeah,
I didn't want to see myself.
RA was like, get off.
My memory of that night, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to remember.
Well, you didn't even remember that we talked. So this is good, though. I got to be there for your last hurrah.
And that's my whole career, man. That's scary. But that's a lot of it, you know, and that's a lot of the reasons.
I mean, that's a lot of people's whole hip-hop career, right? I mean,
yeah, I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I'm friends with Slade.
So I want to go back to the origin, but since we are here, I'm going on 3 years myself right now, sober. I'm always still eating shit, so like drinking, right? Fucking crazy.
I was sober at that show for a year then.
How do you navigate that as an artist? That's you said you're drinking your whole career, making like that be part of your whole persona, and now having to change that at such a late stage of your career. How do you feel about it?
that was the hardest part, I guess, is finding inspiration without alcohol and drugs. You know what I mean? Getting back in the studio and not being triggered by the studio itself, because all of that was a trigger. Being at a show, like I can't go to a hip hop show. I could, now I can, I think, but without wanting to drink, obviously, it's all part of it. And we all do hip hop shows at bars, so like it was very hard to escape it. I think for me, getting sober, the hardest part was once I got clean. How do I get myself hyped? How do I enjoy myself in a hip hop environment without alcohol? You know what I mean? And that shit sucked.
Are you out of that now?
I am.
Okay.
Thankfully, I'm back in the studio. It took a while, man. It took a while. There was a lot that stopped me, but now knowing and relearning how to enjoy hip hop clean and sober, how to really be there, be present, and feel the vibe of it without being assisted by it.
That's kind of what I wanted to get at. Like I found, maybe you the same way, that like I was actually enjoying it more. Like once I got over the fear of not, like, am I not going to enjoy any of this?
Right.
Once I realized that I could, I saw the people around me. First of all, I'm like, I don't want to fucking be like any of this.
Right.
And I was in the moment more, and it just seemed like better. Like I had more fun.
Right. You remember, at least you remember.
You know what I mean?
So that's the sad part, is you remember.
Being present. It definitely, I say, being present is a gift. You know what I mean? Being present, remembering those moments, making those memories, and being able to talk about it the next day
it's like
without having to ask somebody, what the fuck did I do? You know what I mean? Like it feels good and clear conscience. You have a clear conscience. You're not making bad choices. You know what I mean? Which came with drinking for me.
But even that, just the art part of it.
Yeah.
Just the specific art part of it. How do you feel about the art? Do you still feel like you got the same skill set, the same funny, the same?
I think it's different now. I think it's a little more mature. I think when I was drunk and high, I didn't give a fuck as much, so it was easy to say really ignorant things. That, yeah, might be funny, but then in hindsight and playing it in front of my daughter isn't as amusing. You know what I mean? Or some of the things that I say, I'm just like, damn.
Well, no, I mean,
that was too soon. Like right after somebody died, I'm making jokes about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever it might be, like it was just, there's a little less sensitivity to certain things where I think I have that now. I have a little
more intentionality now.
Yeah.
Well, like some people don't know, Method Man doesn't swear in his rhymes anymore. And the reason being is because he couldn't recite his shit in front of his kids. He's like, that's embarrassing. I can't, like, what I do for a fact, I can't fucking do in front of my own children. Like, I'm done with that shit.
I'm still crazy. I'm still retarded. You know what I mean? I still say retarded. I would give a shit about certain things.
I think Sandra Thompson, I think that's like our generation. I don't think that's that. I guess
Now we're demonetized.
there's actually been a new meme going around. Like, everyone say gay retarded for gay retarded shit, like whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but that's old school. Exactly. I don't say it in that sense. Like,
I don't think anyone does.
like I don't even want to get into Louis C.K.'s is a really funny skit about using the F word and the N word. I don't say it.
Right, you use the N word.
Like, I went to the coffee shop. And this nigga made the shit out of my coffee. You know what I mean? But he didn't mean it in the end sort of way. It's just like that's how it came out because he's just emphasizing.
Wait, on what's your background? Like, what's your ethnicity?
Puerto Rican and Puerto Rican.
Okay, and you use the N word.
I do.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah.
Because there is that argument whether or not.
Because when I grew up, it was part of hip hop. I was like, yo, my nigga, what up? Yo, that's my nigga right there. You know what I mean? It was never used in a derogatory form or a racial.
That's why I try to explain to people when I say it.
I feel like Puerto Rico, just New York, just like automatically just ride that anyways. Like Puerto Ricans from New York are just like, don't wait.
Yeah, you're from New York.
Like,
you're from where hip hop was started. You can say whatever you want.
We started that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, how do you? Well, I mean, we'll get right into that. I mean, how do you feel about that? Because I mean, obviously, there's a discussion going on with what we were talking about with Benzino, like places in hip hop and whatever. Like, I say that I've been in hip hop since I've been fucking 8 years old. I'm 44 fucking years old right now. No one to tell me that I'm not hip hop. I'm not fucking part of it. You can suck my fucking dick. I've done all the
Jesus,
but
so passionate.
People might say, because it's my motherfucking life. That's why.
Fact.
People might say that, like, some people say Puerto Ricans aren't in the house of hip hop as well.
Only Lord Jamar.
We just say, not only Lord Jamar.
See, that's the dude. We were there since the beginning.
You absolutely, you 100% were.
Yeah, Phil is 4, I think. What's Puerto Rican? There's a bunch back in the day.
Tony Touch. Benzino was totally on your side there.
Yeah.
We had that.
Yeah, we had a bunch of Puerto Ricans in hip hop. as much as white kids, you know.
I mean, the breaking and graffiti crowd.
So Talib Kweli gets on fucking Twitter and he starts saying that, you know, we should get all the white people out of hip hop because they're trying to steal it like they did. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, nah. Like Rick Rubin produced, you know, Beastie Boys and was down there with the Run DMC when they were creating. You know, white people have been a part of hip hop just as much as black people. That's the one thing I loved about hip hop, and I was proud of being a part of the culture. Is there was no color. There's no separation of color.
I think there is like a level of like you have to be down in a certain way. Like you got to be like you know what I'm saying. You're not, it doesn't matter what color you are, but you. I mean, it's me saying as a white guy, but like the way I've always looked at that shit, like if you're down and you're like, if you respect the origin, you respect. If you know your history, you know your shit, and you show respect to your shit, there's no reason you can't stand 10 toes down to that motherfucker. And this is my.
So
shit.
You're saying like Little Yachty is not hip hop? Or do you just stand
more artsy than Father Little Yachty? That's what I'm saying. Okay. I am more hip hop than Little Yachty. 1,000 fucking.
My kids know who Nas is. They know who, you know, Run DMC is. LL Cool J. I listen to everything back in the day. Cool G Rap, Rakim, you know, Leaders of the New, all that original.
Was there ever a time where you didn't let your kids listen to music with a parental advisory and naughty words?
Certain things.
Okay.
Certain things I wouldn't play. Especially my girls. You know, my daughters. I try to keep some things away.
Maybe no neck.
I mean, but the shit they listen to, I'm just like, keep her off.
So you're not going to the upcoming Glorilla show? No.
Well, put it in your mouth was like a shocking song at one point in time. Now that's a top 40 fucking wet ass pussy is a fucking that's just like the you know, turn up the wet ass pussy. You know, I was like, oh, fucking Jesus, crazy. Jesus, crazy.
Crazy party and all.
Well, you mentioned a second ago Talib, and I read that you went to high school with Talib.
I did.
Okay. And Jarobi from
Talib Kweli. So is my beatbox. He's probably my best friend in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Who else was at this high school? That we would know of. That's wild.
Hold on. So were you around when like Tribe was battling like Wu and shit like that? You got going to the schools and shit like that?
I was like 16, 17 when Tribe Called Quest started popping in the clubs.
Okay.
Going to like
but you knew Jarobi.
Did Clark Kent was DJing in the clubs. Jarobi.
So how
Jarobi was cool. He kept his shit like I didn't even know he was down with Tribe until Tribe started blowing up and I seen him in a video and I was like, yo.
Wait, he's your best friend.
Yeah, never told me shit. Well, we didn't really. We all, you know,
best friends, but we don't talk.
In high school, you're only friends in school, right? And then once you left, especially if you're from different. He was from Queens. I was from Brooklyn. Once
represent Queens.
So he would jump on the train. I'd jump on the train. We didn't really chill like that.
Got it.
But in school, that was my dude. You know.
I mean, that's wild.
Didn't like Busta Rhymes, Jay-Z, and like fucking like RZA go to high school together or some shit like that? It was some shit like that. And like, and then
they weren't best friends. Him and Jarobi were best friends.
I heard stories about like
maybe best is a little
best friends in the whole wide world.
It's my best friend.
When's the last
best friends for life?
When's the last time you talked to your BFF from high school, Jarobi?
I spoke to him about 4 or 5 years ago.
Damn, that long ago?
I think it's like 50-year-old. It's very stuff.
Yeah,
because they have.
And we're men.
I heard the legendary stories of like the high schools and shit. Like Tribe would travel and like battle like high schools and shit. And they eventually got to high school that like there's like supposed to be legendary battles of Q-Tip and ODB going at it like for rounds and rounds and rounds.
We used to jump on the train. Yeah, we used to jump on the train and battle rides. Like we had a cruise, me, Madman, Pumpkinhead, like Immortal Technique. You know, we had Poison Pan. All these dudes used to just travel around, fucking battle.
Well, we do the same thing, but like it's crazy when
Fat Beats.
Just bring the mic a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy like when it turns out that like it's Q-Tip and RZA. But you're like when you're doing it, you're not realizing it's going to be Q-Tip and RZA. You're like, wait a minute, like years later, there's got to be people that are regular people that aren't in hip hop that are just like, oh wait,
but it also
is that Robert and fucking
it blew my mind that like I didn't know that Q-Tip produced a lot of like the Infamous from Mobb Deep. And once you see like how they're interconnected, even though they're totally like different types of rap,
he's in all the videos. This
wild, yeah. Now coming back as an older, he's very vivid.
Styles P talks about fucking how like De La Soul's his favorite shit, like you know what I'm saying, all the time.
Yeah, and fucking Lupe Fiasco talks about how Spice 1 and MC8 were his favorite shit. It's just so bizarre.
That's wild.
What was your favorite chick growing up? So like
G-Rap.
Okay.
Cam, Big Daddy Kane.
How would you describe like your style?
My top 3, and then probably Big Pun later, Eminem. My style, it's definitely that Brooklyn shit. You know what I mean? Definitely that Brooklyn.
See, it's like hip hop. Like,
Because I grew up on Rakim, that flow. Big Daddy Kane, I like his punchlines and his style. You know what I mean? G-Rap came with the hard shit. So then it was just like the alliteration. That's where I picked up my alliteration.
How old were you when Capital Punishment dropped?
Oh, probably like 30 something.
So
Late
that was like
late 20s.
2000, 2001, 2, somewhere around there. It had to be, right?
is that when it dropped? I thought it was like mid to late.
It's late 1990.
Yeah,
2000, yeah. Yeah, so I was.
But was it crazy? I mean, you're Puerto Rican, so was it crazy? Like,
oh, it was fire. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had the best rapper in the world representing.
yeah.
And he's Puerto Rican.
So who do you choose, Big Al or Big Pun?
Big Pun.
I got to agree.
Big Pun. Definitely. Big Al was dope with the
Yeah.
lines, and he knew how to connect those lines. And Pun songs were fire. But Pun with the right in the middle, little.
And Big Al never had a masterpiece. Capital Punishment is a masterpiece, front to back.
I was doing shit like that before I had Big Pun. You know what I mean? I think it was just the Puerto Rican thing because we just had the South Side. You know what I mean? Now Adobo in there, like I leave a lot of impression, attack with an active aggression, hanky, the search into the Rossi play. Like that came out way before Capital Punishment dropped. You know what I mean? So I was definitely, but hearing Big Pun and knowing that someone else is, it was just like, of course, you do. You know what I mean?
You're a kid, essentially. Turntablism, you're already into it. Like, if you're doing that shit at 10, 12, 13 years old, like, you're obviously going to stay in music. Like, you're already, like, in it. Like, you're already at the level that people are going to work at to get to. You're already there, like, as a child.
I was singing from a kid.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what's your first taste of, like, okay, we're going to start making money doing this. This is going to be my job.
My mother put me on the mic, and what it was.
Your mother put you on the mic?
Yeah, Columbia Street Festival.
Okay.
My mom.
Is your mom in the music industry at all?
No.
Just a regular person?
She was a young lord, so she was like a revolutionary, Puerto Rican revolutionary. Okay. My father's a singer. He's a salsa singer. He sang with Tito Rojas in Puerto Rico. They grew up together in Macau. So they were like best friends. They used to go parangueando for Christmas, which is like singing for alcohol.
So when they put you in the mic, are you singing or rapping?
Wait, jets or food or whatever.
Wait, singing for alcohol?
Yeah, so parangueando is like, you entertain families on the Christmas holiday, during the Christmas holiday. You go from house to house for Christmas and entertain. And back in the day, it was because people were poor, so they would do it for food, alcohol, whatever you had to give them, basically, in exchange for them performing for you. So my dad, Tito Rojas, used to go with 2 guitars and just go from house to house when they were young, when they were teenagers. Probably get money for biz, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And...
we need this. Why don't we have the cool shit in white culture?
Right. Well, actually, what they would do too is they freestyled. So everything they said, they made up off the top of their dome, and that's what made it entertaining. We were like, "Me levante por la mañana," you know what I mean? And whatever he sees, "Está comiendo una banana," you know what I mean? Stealing banana. Whatever they see, they would sing about, and that was parangueando. It's called improvisando, improvise.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I always say that Puerto Ricans are like those OG hillbilly, the people from El Campo, you know what I mean? Those are the people that kind of made them freestyle. We just took it to the next level.
Huh. And I saw you wrote like a nice little eulogy of your dad when he passed away on Instagram. And you said that like whenever he would sing, the whole family would cry.
Absolutely.
So this man had real talent and like emotion.
Yeah, he was legit. Like, you didn't even have to understand Spanish to hear it. When you heard him sing, there was a passion there. And you could see the passion, you could feel it, you know what I mean? And people would just cry, like the Beatles and shit as well.
Oh, that's stuff.
When you're church, when they're putting you on the mic for the first time, that's the singer or that's a rap?
Sing. So I was saying, I sang a song called Bill de Luz. It's a Puerto Rican anthem. And
you're deep at the same time.
It was acapella.
No, if I'm saying you're in hip hop DJing and you're singing.
Yeah, well, no,
separately.
I was like 5 years old. This was
right.
This was before hip hop. So I started at that age singing in public. That was the first thing I like. And then later on, I heard hip hop and it evolved into rap. And then I only rapped for a long time. I didn't sing at all. And then I started incorporating.
Wait, what did your dad think of rap? Because he's coming from old school singing. What the fuck did he think of that?
That's garbage. That's nothing. There's no words. There's no word. What are you saying?
Did he ever get to a point that he was like, all right, you got it.
I think there was a point where he saw me like traveling, and then he came out, and he got to see a couple of the studios that I built, and
He's had some success in it.
and he had like I had the studio with Ghostface, and
Oh, wait, I didn't know about that.
So he saw that, and my mom, I had a studio with Ghost for like a year.
Wait, so you like co-own the studio with Ghostface Killer?
Yeah.
So how did that happen? What's the connection, you and Ghostface Killer?
Mike, his manager, the Def Jam dropped the funding for the studio space.
Okay.
At one point, they just ran out of funding for that, so they said we're not paying rent there anymore. So they needed somebody to help pay for the spot and be co-owner with them and kind of manage it.
Okay.
So I ended up managing the spot, co-owning it, and
Is it safe to say you've spent a bit of time with Ghostface though?
oh yeah, Ghost, Sun God. I recorded his whole project. Trife, the God, used to record there.
Oh, I love Put It On the Line. Put It On the Line with Trife and Ghost is one of my favorite albums.
Yeah, I actually did a song with Meth for the Mortician soundtrack called Life and Death that I recorded because I was sitting there engineering the session, and he was like, "Damn, I need a hook for this," and I was like,
Here I am.
"Oh,
Yeah, and isn't Trife living in Worcester now too? Or is he just traveling back and forth there?
I haven't spoken to Tribe. I honestly don't know. I know Capadonna's out there.
Yeah, Capadonna.
Cap is
Then you got Kuda Monk.
What's this
all
thing?
the time.
Does he go with
Send me all the time.
Oh, Deck is out there, yeah.
He's always out in the gym studio.
When's the last time you talked to Ghost?
A couple years ago, I think right around the time when I met her at opening up for Redman.
Oh, is that where you two met?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. One of two of the greatest performers in hip hop, or the greatest tag team
She
in
walked
hip
in,
hop.
she walked in, started stalking me immediately.
Yeah, right. I didn't know who he was.
I was like, I'm Block McCloud. She's like, who? I was like, Block McCloud, kind of a big deal. No, she's no.
Wait, where did you get that name, by the way?
It was originally Building Block, and I was like a fan of the Highlander because there can be only one. You know what I mean? So it was Block McCloud, aka the Highlander, and then my boy was like, "What's his name? Is his name like Ian McCloud?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "From the Clan McCloud." And he goes, "Yeah, we should change the name to Block McCloud." So Will Tell actually suggested it, and so I started stuff. Block McCloud.
That's the name.
Before we get off this topic, though, you had a studio with Ghostface Killer for a year.
Yeah.
All right. I need to hear a story. I need to hear a story.
Don't think I wanted to circle thing.
Oh my god.
Late
Right.
night studio story, hip hop.
Yeah.
This is fucking hip hop.
Because Ghostface is one of my favorites.
Come on, I mean, what do you got?
All right, so I'm in the studio. Ghost may have stopped by that night, but it was late night now. It's Sun God, Trife, all these crazy, like, it was just nuts. It was just nuts. Everybody's just doing drugs or drinking. This kid passes out. They go to carry him outside of the studio in the middle of it was New Year's Eve, mind you, so like 1 degree outside. It was snow, so there's snow on the ground. They carry this kid. He had taken off his shirt somewhere in the night, and they carry him outside and drop him in the snow. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "Yo, he passed out. He can't be laid up in the studio like that, son." You know what I'm saying? Like, yo. And I'm like, "Son, like, you can't leave him outside. He's gonna die."
Shirtless.
Yes, can't put him outside my studio, like bugging. So he was like, "All right, let's bring him back in." So we bring him back in, and I was putting him down in the middle of the lounge area. He wakes up and punches me square in the face.
See, that's what you get for saving his life.
And I'm like, "Yo, chill, I just saved your life," you know what I mean? And then some guy grabs you, like, "What are you doing? Let's block. He's a studio owner. What are you doing?" So they yell at the kid, and then a couple hours later, this other kid, I walked by the studio, he said, "Block ain't gonna do nothing." And I said, "What?" So I stopped. I'm hamming. So I walk in. I was like, "What did you just say?" He's like, "You heard me, Block. Hey, go ahead." Before he finished, I was like, "Bow."
Yeah.
So now we're rolling, we're fighting. My ex jumps on top of this other kid, starts pulling out his dreads, and we're just like fighting. By the end of the night, we're all sitting around laughing. You all got knots on our face. My face is
It's like us after the Ben
I
Tito
had the
interview.
same lump twice, you know what I mean, on my cheek. But yeah, that was wild. So then the cops come, start banging on the door, and we ain't opening the door. And for whatever reason, there's a hole in the door where the lock is supposed to be.
Segoy Hope.
You know what I'm saying? Glory. No. But yeah, there's definitely things being passed through that hole. So they're banging. We're like, nah, we ain't letting y'all live. Fuck y'all, you fucking pigs. They're cursing at the cops. And they start shooting fucking mace through the hole.
What?
Spraying mace through the hole in the fucking door.
Oh, that's
That
good.
was wild. Yeah.
They go, yeah, motherfucker. Like,
Boy, Crowatos is out there. It was wild.
Chromatose president. That's a good thing.
That's a good story, but it did include Ghostface.
No, but also you gotta think. Imagine being a dude. You just wake up and there's like 4 dudes like carrying you. Like you just.
I don't have to hide that. I've been there before.
That's fucking terrifying. Like you just wake up, you don't know where you are. You see like people just carrying you. You're like, oh man, this is it. Checking for the kidneys and shit.
That's why he woke up. That's why he woke up swinging.
So we all know this is gonna happen eventually. You know what I'm saying?
That's still insane.
That's why he hit the first face he saw.
All right, yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. So, but what's it like? Like,
Ghost is very quiet. So
Okay.
to answer your question, Ghost is very quiet. He would come in the studio, he'd do his sessions. You know, we got generic, and he'd just bounce. He never really got into. He wasn't like he's not like one of the wild dudes.
Because he came through.
Keith Murray. Just,
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I have a question on that in a second. But Ghost came to WERS. It was one of like my favorite moments. It was right when Fish Scale came out, and he did these drops where he's like chopping up the fish scale, like scraping across the mirror or whatever. Yeah. They're just going nuts. And of course, in Transstream, then we lost those drops. But he was super funny and like personable there.
Yeah.
And there have been like I've seen him so many times since then. And he's either like super funny and personable, or it's kind of like just
yeah, a little standoffish.
or he's like it'll be $100 per autograph, kids.
Right.
Yeah, so he's
No, he's about his business.
he's about his business. But that's crazy that you and him co-owned the studio.
Yeah.
Wow.
so getting back to you, even your journey, like your beginning, who you are, your career.
Well, he's the one who's here.
Yeah, well, he's here. As you talking about.
Might as well.
Well, we got up to like you turntables, being a teenager. At what point, like, I'm trying to get to like, at what point are you deciding like I'm gonna be a rapper? Like I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna make music, make money. I'm gonna this is gonna be my job, my career. I'm gonna build a life doing this.
Yeah. When did you decide you were not going to make your
Sorry, that is not a common thing yet.
No. So
Yeah, that's what's funny.
Tag team.
Everyone's like, you're crazy. Like that's not gonna work.
It's like 89.
So,
I'm gonna say right
89. Yeah, that's fucking. That's
Early.
Yeah,
They're
early.
18 years old. My boy Will Tell gets a studio in his basement, and we just start making beats on the S950 and the Kai MPC, and just swacking beats and freestyling on the 8-track. You know what I mean? And we made Famous Last Words, and then Lyricist Lounge. I don't know exactly remember how we connected with Daddy and Ant. We kind of know him from parties. We used to go out to clubs a lot.
Okay, because Lyricist Lounge
and shit like that.
is fucking huge that time.
Yeah.
So you're only making mixtapes on 8 tracks in beat machines, and you're getting to Lyricist Lounge?
They actually put the Famous Last Words joint off the 8.
How the fuck do you even can?
It's the only song on the album that was made on an 8-track.
Wow.
How the fuck?
Now that I know what one is, I'm impressed.
How do you connect? That's what. How do you go from there to that?
Well, right after that, we just we started banging out joints. We made singles.
Why
And
did I
then-
just even find you?
So that's the thing. So we basically started us, nonfiction,
Okay.
Immortal, Jean Grey, Talib, all those. We basically started putting our CDs and our vinyl and our music on Napster and on, Fat Beats. We sold
On purpose,
Fat Beats. Yeah.
which is a
We
wild.
manufactured our own CDs.
Yeah.
Just wild. Manufactured our own CDs, and we started
Purposely
selling
bootleg
online.
them on Napster so they could go
Oh,
out,
shit.
which is crazy because then obviously it got to the point where they wanted that shit shut down for that exact reason, but using it as a tool. Because I remember those days when you'd have to go to the hip hop blog sites and download the MP3s. It would take forever to download a fucking MP3 and shit like that. And these are the days we were talking about getting your music out.
Yeah, we were putting
Send it through the AOL chat.
It's so hard.
Everybody was downloading. We were uploading.
It was hard to do that back then. So and I'm just trying to get the mindset of someone that even wanted to do that shit back then, or thought to do it, wanted to do it, saw promise in doing it.
Right. So we started doing it. Everybody saw it, and all of a sudden we're selling CDs like nothing.
Yeah.
Now these little underground labels start popping up. Lyricist Lounge, 321 Records, Eastern Conference. You know what I mean? And we start putting out records ourselves. And then Atmosphere and all those guys started jumping. But like before that, Company Flow. You know what I mean? You had LP is a good friend of mine. We had fucking Pumpkinhead doing his thing with what was the name of that label? Jean Grey was on it. Bad Seed. Was it Fat Beats?
Oh, baby.
Most of the shirt. Nah,
these are
there's another one.
These are bigger
just started coming
artists.
Right, that's when it started developing into that. But before that, it was just us selling CDs out of our book.
But you were in New York when all these boutique labels that became huge worldwide started to blow
Like
up.
Raucous and shit. Like
Yeah, we were there when it started.
And you were
The artist.
do you have any production done by LP or any songs with LP?
Probably third party somewhere.
Because when it comes to like
We
somebody who
performed a lot together.
Okay.
Flow, us, and Nonfiction. We did a lot of shows back in the day together. You know what I mean? El Bell.
right.
You know, we
So-
broke up or whatever.
okay, I'm like lyric guy. He's a little different than that. Like grew up like that.
Yeah, like
shit.
West Coast rap.
Yeah, like
Look.
a little bit different. When I think about like Army of Pharaohs, Nonfiction, Ill Bill, all you guys, like I think about like that aggressive, and you're Puerto Rican, but it's like that aggressive, angry, like white fucking guy rap. You know, like do you ever like do you know what I'm saying? Like you get that.
Well, that's all we wrote. All we did with Brooklyn Academy when we first came out. All we wrote was battle raps.
Yeah.
So everything was like, I beat you down, I headed us back.
Yeah, everything
bust
was
down,
just
bust
aggressive,
down,
baby.
bust down. Fight Julie hard, I pulled the card on the boulevard. Robbed it for your jewelry guard and juvie card. Because I'm a full retard. In fact, I'll slap you silly and tap the jelly out your capillary. Son, you're harmless. At your very worst, you're an accomplice. You know what I mean?
So keep going. This is great. But it's like,
you know, it's like mad rap. You know?
Yeah.
well, were you guys all battle rappers at that time when Brooklyn Academy came together?
It feels like they are. Like
Yeah,
They just bitches give a speech with killing snitches. Will's the richest fortune teller, always clocking door like Rockefeller. McCloud, I rock the flow, block impeller. You put it in your mouth, I'm blocking Ellie. When I bust mine, you find it hot in your belly. Who shot you, Machiavelli? I hold stock in every endeavor to give me leverage. The cleverest, never was devilish, but cool like a beverage. Ace the Tessus, haste the best and made them lessons. Spray their fleshes. Raise their flesh, raise them lessons. Made examples, love, will leave the samples, love. Women are dead, fair, raw thugs, I amp them off the champ above all. Still on the rise, I won't compromise. I conquer blind from sky, swamp, you stomp your lies. Beyond your childish dreams, your smile just gleams like a dagger wedge, no, like a jagged edge, a dagger wedge at a violent scene. Your mouth the shape of a silent scream, body unidentifiable. While my temper rise, I'm liable to end your lives, your temperature dives. Lending eyes to the blind, the words I emphasize, create an enterprise. You know what I mean? Like that is...
Okay.
it's always like
Forgot we were Fun Flex.
it is that. It's like that's that shit that like it's like angry, violent, like aggressive, like you know what I'm saying. You're not waiting for it to come, and you like go into it. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of shit. And like it just reminds me of black and white, like tunnel video. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like a little bit grimy, some dirt in the fingernails. Maybe like you know what I'm saying? Like
That's abandoned buildings.
yeah, like
You know what I mean? That's
cold probably smells like weed and shit. You know what I mean? Like it's like
But-
it's just.
Were you all doing battle rap then? Is that
So-
like what led to?
It was, everybody did their own way of doing it. You know, they had their own styles. Obviously, Immortal was doing his, you know what I mean, Immortal thing when he rapped, and I was doing mine.
But it's funny because neither of them are white. And then there's also Pumpkinhead who's black. And like, so, the angry white rapper, Bernie was...
But you know what I'm saying?
Wait,
though.
Metaphor was the best.
Oh, metaphor,
When you
yeah.
think of Army of Pharaohs, it's like all like
Very
it's-
angry.
It's like it just. I think maybe unfairly or fairly, like because a lot of it just reminds you like big coats, cold weather, like fucking like you can't even tell who's white, Puerto Rican, black because everybody just looks the same. It just reminds me of
It
like.
just makes me think of a show with tons of women.
Well, also like a lot of the fans of that shit, like aggressive like dudes, aggressive like white dudes, like a lot of white dudes that can rap love Army of the Pharaohs,
Right.
like love like white dudes that don't like the.
See, like Army of the Pharaohs kind of picked up where, or Jedi Mind Tricks picked up where Brooklyn Academy left off. We broke up. We kind of stopped doing music, but we had kind of set a tone. You know, I'm not gonna say that we originated that sound, but we definitely damn sure inspired it.
You could say exclusive. Brooklyn Academy originated the angry Brooklyn rap
Angry
shit.
white-
Angry white. Yeah, even though they were white.
Like the Coca Nostra came from all that shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like that's how
It's all about-
well, when you think about it, you think about like, oh, that or like the Webbies and shit like this. So you can go that way with it, or you go like this way with it. Where like, oh, these motherfuckers will take your shit. Like, these motherfuckers will fuck you up, take your shit, and all that.
Did Brooklyn Academy knocks a lot of heads out?
Drew Helter Skelter up in East.
So you'll fucking this is cause
Trides.
Yeah.
You had Canarsie, you had non-friction coming up. We had us in Park Slope, you know what I mean? Around, and it was all that grimy. That's what I mean. It was all
Brooklyn grimy, New York. Like, I will take your shit. And like I'll rap you too. Like not only that, like I'll smack you the fuck up and I'll rap you.
I say that there really is no way to quiet my violent ways when I am enraged and tight like a lion in its cage. The only thing that soothes this savage beast, musical masterpiece, tracks and beats, I use them as a release. And actions speak. Louder the words, so I'll put your mouth on the curb, kick you in your head, and smash with your teeth. I'm out of my bird. Punch you in your stomach till your bladder's weak, and you have to pee, making noises like Master P. Uh-oh. Now you a herb and a damn fool like all you fans who think I love you when I really can't stand you. I hate you. I want to break you with both your ankles. Make you do the tango, grab a rope and hang you. Choke you left, strangle, maim, and mangle you. Let your brain tangle loose. Crack your fruits, fill your mango juice. Manhandle you. Crack your cannons, fill your Campbell soup. Stand on you. Put my Timberland boots on and trample you. Make an example of you, sample you. What I'm gonna do, I'll throw you in a soundproof booth and pound and pummel you. Ambush and bum rush. Gangbang your gun bust. Dangerously. Till you spontaneously combust. Stay humble, my boys may jump you up, dump you in a dumpster. They'll punch you after you say humble is true. My boys are just as bad as me. Brooklyn Academy probably beat your brutally badly on your bottom.
Yo,
I'm just
okay. We give it up for that.
I'm picturing that every conversation.
Fucking hip hop in you.
You love hip hop so much that like like this regular conversation that just shit that starts happening. People like, oh, I'm trying to ask you what you want to have for dinner. He's just like fucking
right. I mean, that's like though when he first talked to you, was it rhyme? Yeah. Did you and Jessica when you first met? Did you pick her up in rhyme? Did you rap at her?
Oh, then the night I met him, he definitely rapped.
Okay.
He was supposed to freestyle. And yeah, that didn't happen. He sang he rapped one of his things and played it off because I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, well, he won't. That's a testament to what a woman you didn't want to pop up in front of him. Yeah, wait, what did you think about?
Him at the time.
Do you have chick songs now? Do you have
No.
Girl, so
Yeah, you don't have any girlfriend.
I'm not a fan, and not that I'm not a fan.
bitch take these flowers? Fucking have this kid.
Right.
Fuck up and hold my hand, bitch.
No, I like romantic, like woman. Woman, so gentle, you know you are my everything. You're everything to me.
That's what he sang that night.
Sunshine, you brighten up my day. You are a perfect season. You're like a day in spring. No, I may not drive a fancy car or buy a diamond rings, but it really shouldn't matter much at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your dad's smiling down for heaven. He's like, you best to singing.
But that's how it made sense now because you've been doing this shit since 5 years old and you did the whole like performing early, like you're just always ready for that. Like it's just natural. That's just kind of what it is.
That's what I was told when I was
been doing it forever. So when you're doing your forklift and shit, you doing shit on the forklift.
Well, I'm singing my life. Sometimes she works with me. When it is we singing from across the building, like
that's dangerous in a relationship and working together. Good guy. Are you both on the night shift?
Yes.
Damn, this is because the things you write about her on your Instagram are like so heartfelt and touching and
beautiful.
So I'm like, this is the same guy that's talking about cracking your skull and have you fucking rhyme.
Yeah, no, you know what? I've always been me, and people know it. I'm super not trying to be like I'm better than anybody. I've never been that. You know, I'm just another person. I'm blessed to have a talent, and I try to do it to the best.
You definitely have a talent. Talk about when did Brooklyn Academy form, and how did you guys? Was it Pumpkinhead's PH's idea to bring you all together, or was it?
I came up with Brooklyn Academy.
You were okay.
And
You're the RZA of Brooklyn Academy.
Yeah, sort of. And I was the idea guy, and then Will Tell was the producer.
Okay.
Early on, but Pumpkinhead was actually there the day that I came up. We were driving by. We were on a bus headed to a studio session, and we looked over, and I saw the Brooklyn Academy of Music.
Okay, that's what it came from.
Yeah, and I was like, "Yo, Brooklyn Academy would be a dope name for it."
It is a dope name.
Yeah. So
good for apparel and all that. Now, Pumpkinhead, he passed away like a decade ago now, right? And you guys were good friends. Yeah, rest in peace to him. And obviously I was working on undergroundhiphop.com for 15 years. You guys were a lot, like part of my story there. I didn't want to work there. Orange Moon over Brooklyn, his solo album, the Brooklyn Academy albums.
Yeah.
But what's a memory, like a fond memory you have of Pumpkinhead? I'm sure you have a million, but
so many. Excuse me. The best, I think the best memories I have with PH are those nights, those freestyle nights. We would be out on the street, just fucking running into people and battling. Yo, you know how to rap? Like literally, we'd walk up to people. You know how to
that's New York.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I used to do that shit
You
in
used to do it?
Washington Street. Yeah, I used to go to the food court.
Like a downtown process?
Yeah, I think, do you rap? You spit? And they've been eating food. They'd be like, yeah, I'd be like outside.
Yeah, we were so hungry.
That's so
But
destroy people lyrically. That's
I
what
would-
we're looking for.
Two
That's
people at
hilarious.
once. I'd be like, you two, and you, like I grabbed three of them. They'd be like, I was all you. Let's go. Let's
No,
go.
that's
Boy,
the ambition.
three people at the same fucking time. Yeah, that was the thing. You got to make a fucking point.
Yeah, but our first day was probably the best. We the day I met him, this girl Melissa, who we were both kind of hollering at the time. We're 12, she was kidding out. She was constantly, she's a cop now. She'll shoot you.
Okay.
She's awesome though. She's really good person. She basically knew about each other and wanted to introduce us for a long time, and finally like set it up for us to battle. We ended up battling in the laundromat park. So
That's a
Laundromat and Park Smoke.
It's like a bunch of street
I
fighters.
won't take that from Punk. I'm pretty sure he would, before he passed, he would have definitely, because he was doing the battle rap song. But yeah, that was one of the funnest.
That's so hip hop. Like everything about this is just so like the foundation of hip hop. What about the other members of Brooklyn Academy? Are you guys still in touch? Is there ever going to be like another Brooklyn Academy album? Or?
So I actually sought out Metaphor. He was another kid in the neighborhood that I'd heard was dope. So I went looking for him to battle him. We ended up going on for like 2 hours just rapping at each other, and he was really no winner. At that point, I was like, I'd rather he be on the team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Than not be on the team. So I was like, yo, do you want to get down Brooklyn Act? So I put him down. So now it's me, Pump, Metaphor, and Will Tell, the producer. Later on, we got Icy on, and then we had like affiliate, you know what I mean? Like Diabolic, G Gray, Thurston Out Third, Patsy. We also toured.
Thurston Hill Third's another one who's out in Massachusetts. I don't know if he like
He's back and forth. He's back and forth. He's down in Florida. He's up in Mass. He gets around. You know what I mean?
Jean Grey came through undergroundhiphop.com. She was one of my favorite people to have in there. She came through with that nerdy white kid. I guess she was doing an MTV show at the time.
Yep.
Like teaching him to rap. I don't know if you remember that. Okay. But she came through and we were like heavily drinking on stage. And she tagged everything like the back wall and whatnot. Jean, vodka.
I was there that night.
Gray. You weren't there. No.
Okay.
Brooklyn Academy came to a different time, and it might have been with Immortal Technique and Poison Pen.
Yeah.
I feel like you've been through a few times.
Yeah,
No?
we did a couple of tours where we stopped through
Yeah.
the store. We did some stuff.
But you're on Jean Grey's the first album, Attack of the Attacking
Correct.
Things. You're on This Week.
Yeah.
She's on multiple songs of yours. You're on the bootleg album of hers or
Yeah.
EP. So there's a lot of like.
Yeah, me and Jean were like tight for a long time. She's dope. She's one of the dopest female MCs and people that I know.
Well, how did you and her first meet? Did you meet her before?
I met her through she had that joint dynamic, and I still can't remember the name of the was gonna piss me off. But her, Bad Seed, Pumpkinhead were all part of it, and they I met her through Pumpkinhead. I met her through Pumpkinhead. We just became friends immediately. You know what I mean? Just kicking it, and I don't know.
Do you got any wild Jean Grey stories? Because she's wild. She used to be wild.
No, she was my drinking partner for a long time. We just went out. She used to get hammered like I got.
That's what I mean. I'm like, are there any that you remember?
Attracted us to each other was that we like to drink, we like to party. We went out a lot. We definitely hit the clubs a lot and just chilled. You know what I mean? She lived. The one thing I could say interesting about Jean is she lived in the Chelsea Hotel in New York City, which is where Sid Vicious lived, and I think died. So that was cool. You know what I mean? Just feeling like that. There's a part of music history.
Yeah.
Her mom, her parents, you know, I believe her mom's very, very famous South African singer as well back in the day on some jazz. So Yeah, she's dope. She's really talented, man. She made beats.
Yeah.
She sings, she raps. We had very similar styles in how we like to approach hip hop. So we got along really well in the studio. We created a bunch.
Yeah, you made some dope shit for sure. So what happened? When was this transition to Army of the Pharaohs? Because you were saying Brooklyn Academy was like hardcore Brooklyn rap prior to.
So as Brooklyn Academy, we were out at 14th Street. They had the Rock Study. They used to have it out on the pier.
Okay.
Study festival, basically hip hop show, huge hip hop show. So we're out there just selling CDs, and Jedi Matrix performs, and I was like, yo, this kid sounds like Brooklyn Nine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're dope, you know? And I was like, they're really dope. Who are these people? And then my boys was like, yo, that's Jedi Matrix. I was like, okay. So then I see him walking through the crowd, and I see Vinny. He's got this big red hat on, Philly's hat, and a red shirt, and he just walks up, and I'm like, yo. He was like, yo, what up? I was like, you're dope. I was like, what's your name? He goes, Vinny Paz. He goes, who you? I was like, Block and Cloud. As soon as I said Block and Cloud, he's like, I leave a lot of suppressive attackers and active aggression. He starts reading that verse of me. I was like, oh, so you know my shit? He was like, yeah, yo, you fucking dope, blah, blah, blah.
So that's super cool.
Yeah. So it was dope. Just mutual respect from day one. You know what I mean? That day, they all followed me back to, I had an apartment. Legit, my living room was this size, and there was like a little studio in the corner, on a corner desk. And I had the entire Jedi Matrix ALTP at the time in my living room slash kitchen.
Right, because it was 2010 for the Unholy Terrors when he started.
Yeah.
And they had been around for years by then.
A few years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you came on, or like, actually, never mind. Who was in your living room? Like,
so it was Vinny, Josh, Outer Space, Black Panther, King Size, the whole Outer Space, Planetary and Crip, and then I had a few other heads there with me, so it was like 12 people. It was tight.
yeah, it's a lot of right, dude. When you would make those tracks, would it be in the studio together, or was most of it?
So that track we did the Omen that
Right there. Okay.
Yeah, that was me and Van. That was our first song together.
Okay.
We were on the spot. So we did our first song together. We did on the first day.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's again like all of these like origination stories for you are super duper hip hop.
Yeah. No, that was amazing. And the rest is history. We clicked from that day, obviously. When we made that joint, and it just he hollered at me a couple times to get on some stuff. I hollered at him a couple times, and we made some bangers.
What's he like? What's his process in the studio? Anything?
He's very prepared.
Okay.
He knows what he's gonna do right off the jump. That day, he might have written that verse on the spot.
Okay.
I had the beat already, and I had just started writing to it. So I was like, yeah, I got this joint I've been working on, and I punched it up, and he was like, yeah, that's the one, you know what I mean? And he just, I don't know if he had some of that written already,
yeah, but
he just came up with it real quick, and we recorded it.
Do you have a good Vinny Paz story?
Vinny's the best. I got so many Vinny stories.
I bet.
Oh my God. He does punch people in the face, just punches them right in the face. We were at
Icon the Mike King in the face.
Yeah, somebody knocked him right off the stage. They tried to jump up on the stage and just snuffed him. Another time he jumped off the stage. And then I hollered because he says, I'm a nice guy. You know what I mean? I'm a nice guy. But then I jumped off the stage and I popped him, you know what I mean? I melted him. You know? That's Vinny. Yeah, that's Vinny's a good dude. But anytime I ever, did a show with him, we'd spend pretty much that night just chilling. Having
He was a happy drinker back then too. I don't know. He might still.
He's not. No,
okay.
No, he's definitely.
Was he always strapped with like a ton of guns? I heard.
Me, him, and Swain were notorious for bumping into each other at shows and hanging out for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful to say that all three of us have kind of hung up the gloves.
Yeah. Okay. And what was Just a Law like? Was he there then?
Just a Law was a fun. He threw up on my couch. Brought him to my house. He didn't know how to act. He's just not a nice person.
Okay. Well,
we'll leave it.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. When's the last time, or how often do you and Vinny speak?
Vinny, me and him, we just like I spoke to him. I want to say like 2 months ago. I hit him up. Somebody was interested in booking him for a show. So I did him the favor and gave him a call. But he's like super retired. He's like, if I never do a show.
Really?
Yeah, he doesn't want to do anything. He's enjoying normalcy. You know what I mean? He just enjoying being a normal guy.
Oh shit!
Doing normal.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think the dude is dropping on 2 albums a year and touring.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
So let's say at least 6 months of that every year. So like for him to just kind of be chill, having the opportunity to hang out with his fans.
So there are no discussions of more Army of the Pharaohs.
As of right now, not really. No, what I'm doing coming up, I got DMG,
which is Disturbium Music Group, which is your label.
Right.
You're the founder and CEO.
I'm kind of putting that on the back burner, and I'm joining forces with the guy who's been my partner from day one, Demons, a Dark Apostle, and we're launching officially Pale Horse Productions. So that pretty much is going to take the spot of DMG as the main label.
Okay.
DMG will have like a slew of artists under its umbrella, but the main umbrella will be Pale Horse Productions. We're dropping Chino XL's next project with another artist, Barnes Exacto. It's the last project he recorded before he passed.
Okay, so we'll be hearing a lot from M80 on Instagram.
Yeah.
What's the Chino XL memory? He was one of my favorites.
He just, every time he saw me, he gave me a big, like his arm was huge, and he just take me in the headlock. I don't know why, he just did it. And my face disappeared. His arm was on, Chino's a good dude.
Yeah, no, he was always one of like the nicest people.
Absolutely, huge heart. Some people just, their hearts are too big for this planet, I feel like,
So what do you think about what's going on with this estate and has been going on since he passed away?
Yeah, I won't even get into it because we had our own legal battle with them for the release of this project. Needless to say, we won, and we will be releasing it.
Nice.
I'm not really feeling like a lot of the stuff that's going on. I feel bad for his two.
Yeah, it's like the younger daughter's pitted against the old China or whatever. Yeah,
China and her nonsense. I won't get into it because, like I said, it's a little close to home right now with the release of this album now.
That's something that people could expect from that album, though.
I'm not gonna say. I will say that it's the best thing I've ever heard. I mean, lyrically, Chino destroys this album. Exacto destroys this album. These guys
features
they're head to head. I'm the only feature on the album.
Okay.
Produce it.
And my daughter sings a little bit on there.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, she sings with me, so that's dope. So I'm trying to establish her real soon. She's 15. She sings her ass off. She's dope.
Okay. Yeah. You're the other Army of the Pharaohs member that would have like samples of his kids. Esoteric.
I'm the owner. I got like 5 kids sitting down in this kitchen.
Your own
Around
army.
4 kids. 5 and 6.
The little Pharaoh.
The Jackson.
It's Jackson. I'm Joe. You know they say I don't be my kid.
If people didn't know who Block McCloud was, what's like where would you point them to find like your art? Like what song would they listen to and go, oh, okay, this is what Block McCloud is?
Obviously, like End of Days, Crazy Man, those two jump out.
Right.
The biggest songs.
I actually, because True Lies, End of Days is like your most watched, maybe music video. Yeah. And that's from Season of the Assassin. Yeah. Is that Benny's first solo album? Maybe?
It was on my first album.
Okay.
Crazy Man, Four Walls.
Okay.
True Lies was. End of Days
is on his.
Yeah,
got it. And he rapped, we know that at that age they made up the disease. I want to just quickly jump into some of these lines. Do you believe? We accidentally mentioned, you were mentioning Easy Pass, but I thought you were saying After Easy E earlier. And having just watched Straight Out
Ended AIDS?
Yeah, or that
I think there's more disease in the cures than there is in the actual diseases that they claim. Yeah, like COVID.
Right, so safe to say you didn't get a COVID booster shot.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
I try not to even get flu shots because I don't trust all that shit. If it wasn't for the fact that it's kind of like the law, I don't even think I would have immunized my kids, but I can't see how that forbid. But, it is, there's a lot of sketchy shit going on with the government and the stuff that
Could you vote?
That the big farmers put out there for us.
Okay. If you had to vote.
It's like, who do you
Right,
vote
right.
for? You know what I mean? Like, come on. It's terrible. There are no leaders. There are no real leaders anymore.
Yeah.
It's a big fucking shit.
She said big pharma.
It's like WWF. I look at politics these days as WWF. It's just a bit
similar to
story, you know, written by people running folks' boys.
when you find out who owns the food,
Business.
it's like even crazier. Like it's all cigarette companies that own the food. Yeah, legit. It's R.J. Reynolds.
No, it was like a Nazi that started the FDA. You know what I mean? It was some crazy shit. Like
Well, that's why food.
if we can control food, we can control the people. You know what goes in it. So
Speaking of,
there's a lot of stuff.
speaking of Nazi-ness, what do you think of Elon Musk?
I think he's an alien baby.
Okay. Oh, and speaking of alien babies, at the end of days, sampled David Icke,
I did.
and that's he's all shapeshifters and reptilian.
Yeah.
So how deep do you go down the David Icke wormhole?
Well, I know that there's a lot of there's a lot of inbreeding amongst the royalties and all that going back for years, you know, where they try to keep the money in the family. I don't know if they're aliens or not. I just feel like there's a whole breed of fucked up people out there that control the planet, and you know, I call them the architects.
Yeah.
They just create and shape our reality to keep us kind of doldrums in a stupid state.
Well, even with Disturbia music is becoming Pale Horse, that was off the book.
Yeah.
I actually saw somebody.
Production.
What was it?
Pale Horse Productions, but yeah, Pale
Pale
Horse,
Horse
the book.
Yeah, somebody gifted it to a fan. Like gave it to Vinny Paz when he did his last show at the Paradise Rock Club in Boston.
Yeah, that dude was real.
Yeah,
William Cooper.
that's it. Yeah.
William Cooper, ex FTI agent who basically you hold up stuff, put it all on paper, and they go.
But you're big into. Do you spend a bit of time on Reddit or no? You were into the Reddit conversations, pre-Reddit conversation,
Right.
In the X-Files days.
We started all out writing and exposing, and everything I watched, I spoke on, and because there's a lot out there. Obviously, it's something Saturn, Zeitgeist. So
Even in your music, I mean, you're talking about.
I try to keep it real basic. At the same time, I'm not as heavily into it as say an Immortal Technique.
Yeah, no, but it's
Really sits there and studies politics and gets up in front of classrooms and
Right.
I'm not that
architecture.
I'm just angry. You know what I mean? I'm pissed off at the system. I'm at this drunken welfare system.
we used to play that song on WERS all the time. Bush knocked down the towers.
Right.
Do you think 9/11 was an inside job? Yeah. What do you think it is? Do you think? Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
I mean, Immortal Technique is
Flat Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
He's trying to convince me. I watched a bunch of stuff, and they're trying to convince me. And I still can't really see it. I don't believe it because they're going to drive and just fall off, right?
Right. Do you think that the moon landing was real? And
No.
Okay.
It's not really moving.
Do you think that there's an alien space station on the back of the moon and never ruled by reptilian aliens?
They just get crazy.
I don't
No,
think,
I'm not. This is David Icke stuff.
I don't think they. I still don't think they needed to land. I know that they have stuff up there, but I don't think he.
I don't know. Buzz Aldrin punched him right in the fucking face. You see that clip? Yeah. Old man.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You really wanted to move? Wow. Pop that motherfucker right in the fucking mouth. And then you try to sue him.
You lie on me.
You get sued for your Buzz Aldrin for punching you in the face,
Yeah,
scared
yeah.
of the moon. But fuck all that. Call that shit out. So that shit out. Okay, you said what song people should go to. What's your favorite Block of Out song?
Yeah.
What's the song you're the most proud of making?
I definitely like Four Walls. The project is probably my favorite. And my favorite Block and Cloud song would be Hair.
Why?
Because it's about my daughter and not being able to see her and how it made me feel at the time.
So you do have heartfelt songs too.
Yeah.
They are in here.
That's your Eminem Mockingbird.
I was gonna say, oh yeah.
Yeah, basically, but yeah, I'm a little angry. I'm fantasizing killing her mother.
I was gonna say Kim.
So
That's what I
the
was gonna
story
say.
behind that song is I wrote my daughter a text in rap form when I was hammered one night. I was angry. I didn't get to see her for the holidays. Her mother kind of pulled the rug out from under my feet so I could get her, didn't get her. So I didn't get her. So I'm sitting there angry and drunk, and I just start writing this verse. like this angry drunk person. And that ended up becoming like the first verse. That's how they go.
Your hair is
Right
red.
up the river and the river began. Yeah.
Your hair is red, so it's no wonder they get fired.
Your hair is red, so it's no wonder that you're fiery. Before you go to bed, are you missing me in your diary? Oh my God, I can't remember now. See, I just set it all up, and now I can't remember. Your hair is red, so it's no wonder that you're fiery. Before you go to bed, are you cursing me in your diary? I didn't mean to disrespect, just hoping that you say hi to me when I finally call. Yeah, anyway, long story short, I went crazy off, and I said I was gonna kill her mom in the verse. And she got upset, and I was like, I never want to talk to you again.
Your daughter got upset, or her mom, or they both got upset?
She got upset. Sure, what she told her mom, she wasn't happy about it. But we ended up doing the video, and my daughter was actually in the video. So like after all of that, I did the song. She kind of understood. Like by this time, we made beautiful amends. So she came out. She went to college at Western State. You know what I mean? Lived with me for those 4 years, and we did the video. It was dope.
That's dope. I always like to ask, like lyricists especially, is there a lyric that like hearing it that you thought was hot when you wrote it, but hearing it years later, you're like, that ain't it.
Nah, so all my lyrics are dope.
Right. You said once you stopped drinking, now you're more intentional with it. So there's got to be something you go back to.
Drunk, I'm even better now. Man. Yeah, I'm the right one to rap. I get stronger. So I'm saying.
Okay.
But nah, there were definitely some ones that was like.
Because every now and then I hear like some funny shit. And you're like, why the fuck did I rhyme like that with that? Like, why was I even thinking? Like, you say like a word like a weird way or something like, I just
like I mispronounced it.
What's crazy is most people like that shit. Like the listener will like that, but the person who wrote it will be like, it just irks me. Like
I'm mad that I didn't go back and fix it.
But you don't, because somebody will be like, no, I like that, leave it in there. But every time you hear it, you're like, I fucking hate that. Like,
this song's definitely that I sang. There's a couple of hooks out there. I don't remember which. Well, it's just like
that was your flat.
I don't even remember recording it, but I'm definitely drunk. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So something like that, baby.
You can hear it in your voice too when you're drunk. Yes, it does something too when you're recording. You can hear it like a slur, like you're not.
When I rap and I sound like a fucking pirate, you know that I'm. You're going too far. You're going too far. You know what I mean?
We gotta drink together.
You sound like one.
No, dude. I did one of you don't remember because you were drunk. But when I last saw you is when you were talking to me about working with Sick Jack. And now you did the Gods of Chaos like 11 years ago. You did a music video with Big Duke, right? And that was City of Los Angeles. Yeah. So talk about you and Psycho Realm and what.
I was on stage on tour. Jimmy Kane. I want to say Capadonna, Keith Murray, not Keith Murray, King Magnetic was on the tour. So we're bouncing around, we're in California, and this kid comes up to me at the show. Now, mind you, I had hit up Jack in a while back and done a song with him, but I'd never met him personally. I just hit him up. I was like, yo, you're fucking dope. I really appreciate your skill level, and I want to get on a song with you. I hit him up on Twitter. And he hit me right back, and I sent him a joint. He did it, and it was dope. And then it was for a mixtape I did. And then I go out there and this kid comes up with the show and he's like, yo, Big Duke wants to meet you. I'm like, who?
Big Dookie Chain, the beginning of Big Dookie Chain. Okay.
So Big Duke wants to meet you. I was like, who's Big? He's like, Sick Jack and brother, man. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. So we jump in the this is like right after the show, go up to his house in the hills. And we're hanging out. He has a studio in his garage. We're just chilling. He's playing music. I'm playing music. We're just vibing. And then he shows me the Soundgarden video, and it's him and his brother in the hospital wearing hospital gear, looking like insane people, and he's got crazy people. And I immediately think Crazy Man video, and I was like, yo. And I wanted to say you bit my shit, but he's like right before he goes, yeah, we dropped this shit in like 1989.
You're like,
and I'm like. Oh shit! I've been, you know what I mean. So that began. I was just like, wow. I was like, so it was like meant to be because I never saw the video, but we had the same idea, and yeah, from that point forth, he just like, yo, let's work on some shit. We ended up putting the whole album together, which we're gonna drop at some point.
Okay, because you put out 6 symphonies or something in April. You put out a music
Symphony of Sickness.
Yeah, Symphony of Sickness.
Yeah.
So he's Big Duke's a paraplegic, right?
Yes.
Okay. So how does how does he
He's
work?
the most productive person I've ever met.
Really?
It's incredible to see, and he's an inspiration for anybody that has arms and like a use of your arms and your legs to have any excuse to not be productive. You know what I mean? Like I look at myself now and I go, I can't bitch a whine. I got to get up at work because this dude does more with just his mouth, and you know what I mean? Like with the little wand.
Yeah.
The wand where he can get on the computer. He made speeds. He sends emails. He puts together events. He puts together merchandise.
And he does all of this with just the wands,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah, and he's just him being who he is. He's able to speak, so he gives a lot of orders. You know what I mean? He's got a whole army out there, 6-sided soldiers.
Yeah, you said he's living in the hills.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so people definitely show him enough love and respect. Big shout out to the Gonzalez family.
It's fascinating. A story I thought was interesting, again, this is from your social media, but it was about you coming back from Los Angeles right after having been linking with Psycho Realm. And there was this dude, Jimmy, you ran into at a liquor store, in front of a liquor store wearing a Psycho Realm shirt.
Correct.
Talk about this.
Jimmy Colencott. May he rest in peace. Jimmy just passed away a few years back. I actually met or worked with Jimmy
Okay.
many years ago. But yeah, Jimmy, I'm like, I just come home. I'm going literally, I think it was like maybe a week since I come back. And I go down to the liquor store and this kid standing out there with a Psycho Realm shirt. And I was like, you like Psycho Realm?
Which is why, when are you ever seeing them on the East Coast?
Right. And it's just so random. He had this huge Psycho Realm shirt. So then I open up my phone and I show him pictures with Sick Jacket and they do. And he loses it. Fucking loses it. He's just like, yo, who are you? McCloud, yo. And instantly became like one of my very close friends. Like I said, he lived in my house for a short time. Like I took care of this kid. Unfortunately, he was a really bad drinker himself.
Okay.
Passed away not too long ago. But he was one of the most talented artists I know, and he was a funny dude.
Oh, does he have music online then? What's his like?
No,
Okay.
no, he didn't make music. He was just he drew.
Oh, artist, got it.
He
Okay.
painted, drew. He's an artist.
A tortured artist.
He was like his biggest canvas. He was an amazing dude.
Oh, he would do his own tattoo.
I'm on it.
Wow, interesting.
How long have you been in the game?
I started rapping when I was 16, 17.
Okay,
So,
very
33 years.
in those 33 years, what is, in your eyes, like your biggest accomplishment in the hip hop game, like your proudest moment? Like, what's like your crowning achievement of like, holy shit, like I started out as a rapper and like I fucking did this? Like from music? Like how the fuck? Like
The most emotional moment I can think of where I felt a sense of accomplishment and gratification was I was on tour with the Snow Goons and Rave the Lost Cause, and we were backstage after a show at Burn, and this illegal comes up to me and asks if I want to sign some autographs, and I was like, sure. So he lets his kid backstage, and the kid has a stack about a foot tall. And he's like, can you sign these for me? And I was like, sure. So I started signing it, and he had more shit of my shit than I even knew existed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even own copies of the stuff he had. Just like vinyls, random cassette tapes, like it was the Hijackers cassette tape, Skiing Team single, Brooklyn Academy, Russian Roulette, Lyricist Lounge, like anything that I was on, he had a copy of it.
So it's safe to say he's going to watch this interview.
All the Will Tell compilations, I hope so, man.
Yeah.
I'll definitely shout him out any day of the week. But it was pretty amazing to have collected anything of mine to that extent. I just felt like, wow, like you actually like me that much. It's me. And then the realization that I'm now sitting in Bern, in Europe, and I'm touring and doing all this stuff. It just gave me a sense of, okay, like I actually did it, And that was more important to me than any amount of money. The fact that someone appreciated me that much and and ran out like what?
Well, the,
It's that halfway around the world that has no
Right.
no connection to you. So
Right,
apparently does have connection to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and you don't even know this is going on.
Yeah, I started. By the time I got halfway through, no bullshit, I was tearing.
Well, that's probably going on in other spaces too, that you don't realize. Like, not to get into like like I'm reading comments and I'm clicking on it like about that thing that's going on with us right now. I'm clicking on the person and I'm realizing like it's a 18-year-old person in like Nebraska, and I'm like, oh, this 18-year-old person in Nebraska is talking shit. Like, and I'm like, wait a minute, like an 18.
Exactly.
This kid was like, listening to
This kid from Australia was like, "You ain't nobody. You like the least known member of Army of the Pharaohs." I was like, "What?" He's like, "You're like the least known member of Army of the Pharaohs." I'm like, "You in Australia? Sit down. You in Australia? You know, you're trolling my page." And you're telling me I ain't nobody and I'm not recognized? I'm recognized enough for you to hate on me.
Damn, I'm recognized enough for you to hear you, so right there.
And it's just cool. Like, wait a minute, like,
Yeah.
oh, look at what you're doing. Look at you fucking heard you talk all the way up. All right, fucking have your opinion, whatever you will. Keep listening, please. You know what I mean?
Sure, I had my kangaroo's ear and my music.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
Just for
yeah, that's pretty dope. And if that guy is that big of a fan, he probably is gonna watch. Do you remember his name or anything?
No.
Right, yeah. What's his ass?
He is gonna watch.
You should have gotten his info. This dude has this the Volatile Museum.
I'm gonna find out from illegal who the kid is with the stack. I want to know his name because I should know his name.
Yeah, you should know, like the vault, where the vault of your stuff is. One day you might need to make a copy from Masters.
I think I was just so emotional. I was just like, thank you, man. I forgot to ask him, but I will definitely get his name from because I know illegal knows.
It'll blow his fucking mind too. Like because in his mind, he probably thinks that you don't even remember that.
Yeah,
right.
It's like it's just wild that like everyone's having their own like story go on, and you don't even know like when they cross or like what they mean. Like me and you could have we can interact, but like we could both walk away from it thinking that I'm never gonna think about this again. But yet I think about it. You don't know I'm thinking about it every single fucking day.
Right. And for you, there's multiple layers because I went to like Lithuania with my buddy who's Lithuanian, and they're like, what's it like in the United States? Is there really that much violence and all this stuff? Like, and they're like looking at be fast. I'm like, see how tough this motherfucker is. Yeah, I've survived the United States, baby. But like, you were from Brooklyn, New York, and then you're out there as a rapper who has stuff he has a 30-year career, a resume. So it's like you're looking at them like you might look at shit.
I'm just like, yeah, you paid me to come out there and entertain you. That's a win. You know what I mean? I can't complain. I've lived the dream. To have somebody willing to buy my flight to come out here and rock shows across 20 countries a year.
Where's the furthest you made it? Where's the furthest you made it? Like, what's the holy shit, we're talking about mountain in fucking Sweden right now?
Budapest was dope. Budapest is beautiful. You go through like this tunnel to get into the city. It was almost like the city was surrounded by a wall. You go through this tunnel, we get in there, and then I went out there. I got these tattoos for free. This kid was like, "That kid tattoo you, block. I love you, man."
You're like, yeah, let's do the rest.
We do it right after the show. So literally right after the show, I was like, all right, fuck it. And we went, and I got my daughter.
All right, fuck it. What the fuck?
All right, fuck it on there. No, I know. Dahlia and Rhea.
But they do the random sins. You're like, I know what I want, but I don't know your work. But go ahead. At this stop on the tour, it's me. So I've never had tattoos. Like where no one can miss it.
This on tour, I got this one on tour. I got this one in California.
All from random events that you never looked at their work, or you just looked at the tattoo, you just had faith, just like fuck.
What? Decided I wanted to make it.
What's also crazy, you kind of went past, like we're going through this tunnel to get into Budapest. Those cities are walled because back in the day they would have invaders.
I would face Archo and then shit.
Yeah. That shit's been around for like 10,000 years, bro. It's 300 shit. So it's like, exactly. So that's his wall, like Jerusalem and shit. Yeah, well, yes. But same shit, yeah. So it's crazy that a kid from Brooklyn is now out there rapping.
Right. And then they're hearing my shit.
And they know,
they analyze my, right.
And they know your words, word for words. Actually, they're learning English.
It gives you your rap. It makes you feel like, okay, I have meaning. You know what I mean? Like I say in the verse sounds like if I rap and you don't respond, then I don't exist or something like that. If my show is on but if my show was on and
Because he smoked the Fern way, man. Those are good meat.
If spawn, then I don't exist. Something like that. You know what I mean? Which basically means like a rapper, an artist, you're only as real as the people that appreciate it, you know, or the amount of appreciation it may receive. Unless you're just doing art for yourself, which is great. But you know what I mean? Like as an artist, a hip hop artist coming from New York, I am nothing unless you like my shit, unless you respond to my shit. You know what I mean? I don't exist if you don't want to buy my shit. Because I don't have bread. You know what I mean? You put money in my pocket, you appreciate it to that extent. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what that dude did for me. He just gave me. I was like, all right, maybe I'm doing something right.
Do you have a, like, we always ask this, like a craziest fan encounter?
Craziest?
Yeah, like the wildest thing a fan has done. I mean, that's right there coming in with this full stack of your whole discography. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, nah, I won't get into those. So yeah, crazy. No, I mean, the craziest thing, I got taken to a show one time and this dude just started shooting in front of the
Pulling the sticky fingers?
Just like, and I dropped to the floor and I started rolling. And then I roll.
Wait, is drop and roll part of what happens when there's gunfire?
Yeah, it was hysterical. And then I just like hopped off the curb to lay it on the street. And I was just laying there. And my boy was like, yo, what are you doing? I was like, go to shoot. And he was like, nah, I was made for you. You mercy.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was just shooting the gun up in the air. And I like
wait, where was it?
And I rolled off the curb. And I just
you were playing dead like a possum? Wait, where was this? What country is this where you can shoot a gun?
California.
Oh, California. Oh, Jesus. What the fuck?
You're not supposed to just shoot it out here.
I didn't know I could do that outside.
You can. I mean, you can.
What do you do when you're happy?
Have you ever been to Romania?
You shoot you guys.
It's a rare trip, budget.
No,
random black. Usually it's that.
No, I wanted to ask it just as an intro to the most bro question I can bring up here. When it comes to conspiracy theories, what do you think of Andrew Tate? Carry on.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Oldie.
Nah, man, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Ever.
Well, you travel a lot, so once again, angry white guy rap, you know what I'm saying? Aggressive rap. You're out in all these Eastern European countries. All right, full to the brim of angry white guys.
Yeah.
Who is crazier for hip hop fans? That shit out there, or like the clubs and the hoods out there? Who gets it in crazier?
Oh, they definitely get it.
Definitely get it crazier. 100%. I'm picturing like sweaty fucking dudes punching each other in the face of shit. It's like
this
angry.
Busted. Like the sneakers be messed up. You know, not to like pigeonhole or stereotype, but they be a lot of messed up sneakers. But I should talk about the biggest homeless sneaker. But anyway, they kind of look like my kids, right? They look like that. All the kids out there look like that, right? So they fucking, we're on stage. Reek the Lost Cause is rapping. He takes off his sneakers and he puts them next to the speaker on the corner of the stage, and he does his set. That's how he does his set.
With no shoes on?
He finishes his set, looks, and his fucking sneakers are gone. Someone took his sneakers. So now he's like, yo, Block, someone stole my stuff.
Wait, he's rapping his socks?
He was like, yeah, he just stepped on stage in the socks. Like, he took off his kid.
Why did he do that?
So he could be comfortable. You know, he wants to get some
beer and shit.
Ew.
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch a splinter.
But anyways,
so he did that. And then he took his kicks. And so I gave him a pair of my kicks.
Did he get them back?
It's like 2 sizes too big, but.
Choose to with new sneakers.
He didn't get them back. He's not getting them back.
Yeah.
Or dope.
Yeah.
Jordans or some shit.
Don't forget who you are to these Europeans.
Yeah, they wanted those.
You're stars, yeah.
They need them. They need them. But no, they are the best fans in the world. Like when I tell you, they represent underground hip hop to the fullest, like hard.
Yeah, that's why I always wanted to be like a record store out there. Have like undergroundhiphop.com. But before you came to me with this crazy ass Big Dookie chain idea, I was really fucking wasted at the Paradise maybe like 15 years ago with King Magnetic. The two of us, I mean, I shouldn't try to go up against a guy like that with drinking hard liquor.
No.
But he was like, we need to do a podcast before people were doing podcasts. How are things with you and him? And like, I know there was like beef with him and Vinny Paz at one point.
Yeah, I didn't get involved in any of that. So like, I don't really talk to Mag that much anymore. I just don't. We don't really speak.
Yeah.
But nothing against him.
Yeah.
Just he's doing this.
Well, shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ed. Yeah, shout out to people.
Shout
Well, I mean, it's about an hour and a half, so it's almost time to wrap up. But I do want to ask you though.
Yeah.
Super lyrical guy, super lyricist. Do you have a bar that you love, you're stuck in your head forever that you wrote?
That I wrote.
Yeah, what's like your favorite bar? Like your favorite verse, your favorite bar from you that like it's always like just shit.
I have a verse that I kick a lot. I'm just like kicking verses. I said, I'm dangerous like the judge ever returned from chambers. I'm fine for the plaintiff. You're doing time for ages. Dangerous like a bump and grind with AIDS patients with abrasions. Dangerous like racist slave ships filled with Asians. Dangerous like a rapist chasing 8 chicks with great tits and take risks. I'm dangerous like angel dust. Dangerous like a razor's rust, your face will gush. Harmful like a 2-legged bar stool. Harmful like a dawn fool, drink and drive a carpool. I'm hazardous like an assassin's bliss. I'm bad for kids. My music make them slash their wrists. I'm ruthless, leave your mouth toothless with my 2 fists like Brutus. I'm straight up stupid, call me doofus, your olive oil. Pushing up daisies in a pot of soil, blocks of royal pain in the ass, so hot I boil your brains. Sick of you bitches who make life miserable, sipping chicken soup straight out the pigeon coop. I make you lick my boot. You're despicable. The type I ridiculed in middle school, you're minuscule. I pitied the fool, you're pitiful. Make you give up your jewels in Liverpool with my tool, gag you with a silver spoon, dead you in your living room. Feel like the fate's against me since my data entry. Satan tapped me to break it into when my plate is empty. Evil may coerce you, crown, so quench your thirst. Temperatures rise, tempers burst. I went berserk. I'm life's most offensive curse. Uncensored before fake friends, I'm first. Dispense the words heard like emperors. Representer. Kept it at the epicenter. Desperate measures, men deaded like Medgar Evers. Dead forever when heads get severed on the job. Rob you like a common slob. Throw you overboard like army star. I can't get it, I'm Ramadan. Fast as shit on MCs like I'm on the John and see more light than promenades.
Yeah, I could be here for this all day. That's amazing. That's amazing. I know. You're like, oh, you want one of my favorites? Give you the whole song. Here we go. That's amazing.
If everyone out there is looking for that, look at that camera, tell them where they can find you, social, where they can buy your music, where they can find your shows, all that good shit.
All right. Block McCloud on Facebook. You got block_DMG CEO.
Into the mic, though.
On Instagram, block_DMG CEO. You could just put it Block McCloud on Facebook. You'll find me. Or Ismail Diaz Jr., Block McCloud artist page. Block McCloud on X. I'm on TikTok as Block McCloud. I think it's -69 or something like that.
Such a
sorry. And then
the locker.
Yeah, we're gonna be dropping a lot of music this year. We're starting the Chino XL album, Chino and Exacto album.
When is that coming up?
That's coming out in July.
Okay.
And then 2 months later, we'll probably drop Demon's album. He's got a host of people on there. We got Griselda artists on there. We got Apathy. We got Self-Titled. We got Yenny. We got a bunch of hands on that. And then my solo album, will drop in 2 months after that. So we're trying to get at least 3 albums before the end of the year.
Yeah, you are. Benny's not done then. There you go. He's on your album.
Well,
yeah, he is allowed.
But before we wrap, can you give me 5 of your favorite indie movies?
True Romance. I don't know if this is considered an indie.
I know in Michigan. So
yeah, right.
Sure.
True Romance is a good flick. Anything by Quentin Tarantino. You know what I mean?
You said True Romance and 4 Tarantino clicks.
Yeah. True Romance was a Tarantino flick.
There you go. Well, that 5 Tarantino flicks.
John Wick 1, John Wick 2, John Wick 6. Yeah. That was actually an independent film, right? Did that go straight to DVD or something and then just blew up?
I don't know. If Hush was here, he'd be able to tell you. Tries out these movies.
Man, what do you want to tell these people right now?
Actually, like and subscribe.
Sensitive, Smarty Forever, fuck her chili. Peace.
Shout out to Miles Grimes. Yours.